What's going on, people? What is going on? You are now tuning in to the Heavy Hitters. Let's get this thing cracking. Hey. What's going on, people? What is going on? As you already know, this is Wednesday night, which means this is your Heavy Hitters Day. I am your host. I am the sixth man, K Styles, aka the yin and the yang. To my stage left, the mad scientist, the Afro Samurai today, Mad Mike Sports.
I would take it out, but I don't want to get demonetized, so y'all just get the face.
And down there at the bottom, as you already know, this is the minister, the calm before the storm, Jew Talk Sports.
We're going to pray over y'all after we destroy y'all. That's the
As y'all already hear, we got a different tone for today. Give y'all a little bit of the hip-hop beat today. But Mike, how do we always start this show off, man? We got 3 words for the people. What are those 3 words?
Red. Roll.
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry. I saw a comment that made me laugh already. Oh, I gotta give a shout. I gotta get D Kobe the first shout out of the show for this one. He said, "If you start swinging nunchucks, I'm a fall out."
Boy.
Oh my God. Hey man, you already know how we do, man. We love to have fun up here. And today's roll call also is gonna go with Joseph Thornton, Darnell Partridge, Robert Ponder. We got the Falcon therapist, that's our homie Juan, Pamela Johnson, William Amy, Big Ant. We got Nathan Floyd. We got Yeezy in the building. Blackberry, Boomer Falcon, Michael Walker, not that Michael Walker, Scotty Robinson, Bobby Boy Zone 3, Pat Norris, RC Plane Building, King Quest, Jamar Gang, John Higgins, Atlanta Nation, Keyshawn Vlad, King Fuego. We got the professor in the building. Y'all make sure y'all show some love for Noah as well. D. Sloan, Sherman Wood. Got my homie Sonia. She already then came in with the energy. She said, "Play for $1." See, she already know the assignment. That's the assignment for the Falcons. Play for $1. We got Prove It, Darian Jr., Brian People. Somebody already said this beat fire as hell. We got Jamarius58, man. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to his channel, man. That's another Falcon content creator. So y'all make sure y'all show him some love too. And we got Freddie. Hey, I think they vibing with this too. I think this is gonna be the new Heavy Hitters intro song. Hey. This is a blunt smoking song, to be honest with you. All right, man. We're gonna go off in 3, 2. All right, people, let's go ahead and get on with the show, man. As you already know, we always love to have fun. That's why I said you make sure you tune in to the heavy hitters because what? You never know what you're going to get when you see us.
You got that right.
So, before we get started on these keys to victory, I got a bone to pick with somebody. And you know what that bone is? There was an article that was actually written that I just saw today. I ain't got the whole article, but I'm just gonna give you the title and who the hell wrote it. I know y'all probably can't see that. I wish I could zoom in on that. But
Uh,
nah,
yeah, I
that's
don't know
bad.
that guy.
See, that's some bullshit.
Yeah,
But
I don't know that guy.
basically, the article has stated that Kyle Pitts is no longer a factor in this offense. That is my exact face right there when I seen that. I got a question for everybody. Whatever blunts, okay, so it was by heavy.com, aka Heavy on Falcons. This is the name of the group. That deserve a sit your goofy ass down award for that because I don't know what the hell is your ass thinking. And that's the first time we gave. You know what? That's the first time we gave a sit your goofy ass down award at the very beginning of the show.
The very beginning of the show.
But we're gonna talk a little bit more about that at the end of the show. So we're gonna go ahead and get into these three keys for the Falcons versus the Seahawks game. Another 4 o'clock game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we already know, the Falcons opened some eyes this past Sunday against the Rams. Unfortunately, we got the L. We took the L on that one. But coming from dire circumstances, it was a pretty impressive way to get back into the game. Seahawks, with Geno Smith starting, didn't know what to expect with them against the Broncos. They squeaked by a very, very low scoring game. Basically, 2 forced turnovers in the red on the goal line stances kept them in this game. So we're gonna go ahead and get to these three keys, man, for the Seahawks. And today we're gonna kick it off with Mike's key to victory. Now, for those that may see it, go ahead, Mike. Do you think?
This is actually a question I've kind of answered earlier today. And you kind of, if you saw the film breakdown from Brian Baldinger, you can kind of get where I'm going with this. But one of the things when I look at Marcus Mariota and his game is that there's a slight hesitation in him being able to pull the trigger on and trust what he sees. I think there's an issue where he's trusting. Either he doesn't trust his arm, or he doesn't trust what he's seeing and his weapons. I sincerely doubt that he doesn't trust his weapons, because Drake London is an absolute stud. I mean, he's proven that now. The dude is just already off to a historic start just for a rookie. I want to make this clear. What Jamar Chase did last year, that type of stuff don't happen. Let's just keep that real. That type of stuff, you come off the rip, 1,300 plus yards in a season. That type of stuff does not happen often. It's a reason why he's probably one of the only ones. Julio Jones. These guys don't come out and get 1,300 yards. Julio, I think he had like 800 yards or so his rookie year. So those numbers don't happen often. So when you see Drake London off to, his first two games, 74 plus yards in a game in the first two, you see, obviously he's not an issue, whether or not he trusts Drake. There is a question of whether or not does he truly trust Kyle Pitts, or does he not trust his ability to make those types of throws? So what I want to see from my own personal view, I want to see him make those tight throws to Kyle Pitts, because that'll answer all the question that I have. If he's hesitant to throw in the middle of the field to Kyle Pitts, sometimes you guys, as a quarterback, you just got to let that thing go. Even if you feel like it's going to be close, you got to let it go. That's why Brett Favre is great. That's why Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, those guys, they let it flow. Even if they feel there's a slight of doubt, they still going to let that thing go. So I need to see Marcus Mariota in tight spaces. Everybody always talk about being able to make those throws when guys are wide open, but the mark of a true quarterback is fitting that thing in when it's just, two guys surrounding one particular target, and he finds a way to get that ball to that number one receiver. So for me, confidence. I need to see Marcus Mariota confidence really exhibit itself as far as his arm is concerned. I need to see him make those confident throws if the Falcons are going to be able to get their first win against the Seattle Seahawks. So the first key to victory is Marcus Mariota's ability to throw the ball with confidence.
Okay, so Jew, I want to ask you a question pertaining to his key. Cause I kind of saw a couple plays as far as with Marcus Mariota, and there's some type of hesitancy. Can you pinpoint any type of moment during that game last week or even the week before where there was some type of hesitancy where it's a ball that he should have threw if he had the confidence, but it was like he was, and they always say he was holding on to the ball too long and such, and then he was starting to rely on his legs. So what's your take on that, man?
Yeah, I agree with both you and Mike. When it comes to Mariota throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts and any of his receivers, I really don't think that he's afraid to let the ball go. I think it's more has to do with chemistry. We always talk about chemistry. The more you play with it's like Matt Ryan and Julio. At certain parts in the game, like they knew each other, like the back of their hand. He knew, okay, Julio's finna break out. He's finna break in. He's finna take it up the field. Like they had that chemistry. So I think that just takes time. Personally, I think he has the most rapport with Drake London. If you look at that touchdown that Brian Baldinger broke down when Drake London scored his first touchdown, that was a tight window throw. When he threw it, if you guys go back and watch it, like the corner could have easily picked it because he threw it like in a very tight window. But you guys know in the red zone, the windows are small, because you only have so much field. So I completely agree with Mike. Kyle Pitts, when he looks covered, he's open. That's what great wide receivers say. Just put it in my vicinity. I'm going to catch it, or it's going to be an incomplete pass. And that's what I think Mike was getting at. It's like Kyle Pitts is going to look covered at times, but he's not covered because of his range and his size. So against a corner, a linebacker, whoever, it's a mismatch. So just give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the throws, if you look at last game, a lot of his passes are high. He's throwing the ball over guys' head. Like he threw the ball over Drake London's head on one of the passes. But if you look, he's not skipping balls where he's throwing it too short. He's selling balls. So that just means he's nervous about, okay, I don't want to, try to throw it through a keyhole, as I always talk about, trying to fit it in this very tight window. But at times he's going to have to do that and trust his arm. He has the arm talent. So let's let it go. Like, trust it. And trust your receiver. Like, and that's what I talked about with the Brian Edwards when him throwing that pick. To me, for whatever reason, I don't know. Does Brian Edwards have a catch on the season yet? I don't think he does. Does he have a reception? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he caught a couple passes.
He caught a couple passes. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, he has the least rapport with Brian Edwards to me. When I watch him, for whatever reason, it seemed like those guys are not clicking. To me, he has good rapport with Drake London. Cordell Hodge, for some reason, he has good rapport with him. So I definitely need to see him, feed Kyle Pitts. But even when guys are bracketed, you still can throw the ball to them. And that's what me and Mike is getting at. Like, he has to trust it, and he has to I would go to Kyle Pitts and say, I'm gonna throw this ball to you. I trust you, but just don't let it get picked. Whatever you do, if you don't come down with it, make sure the defender doesn't come down with it. And that's something that I always pointed out with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan knew if I throw it up, it's either going to be incomplete or Julio's catching this ball. It's not getting it
right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what quarterbacks have to have, that comfort. It's like, I got to know that it's not going to be a turnover. It's either going to be a catch for us or we live in to fight another down. And I think once he gets past that, okay, he throws it to Kyle Pitts a couple times in tight windows, and either Kyle Pitts catches it, or if it is an inaccurate ball, if he knocks it down or, turns into the defender, I think he'll trust it a little bit more. But I think it also has to do a little bit with Arthur Smith, which I'll talk about in my key to victory a little bit as well. But I definitely think that Marcus Mariota has the confidence. I think it's more rapport. These guys haven't played long together. Like, I know we say he's been with Arthur Smith. He has, but he hasn't been with these receivers and these tight ends. Kyle Pitts didn't play a lot in the preseason. So they don't have a lot of rapport. That's what I'm looking at. It's chemistry to me.
So my thing, as far as with that chemistry side of things, I think this is where they're going to have to script up a few plays early on, like utilize that pistol formation, have Kyle Pitts kind of coming out the backfield, kind of get a little bit of them easy throws to kind of get him into the game, because the one thing this offense kind of needs, and like I said, and Kyle Pitts is actually doing his job. A lot of people ain't talking about, even though he doesn't have as many receptions as you would like, he's doing his job because everybody else is eating off of his back. They scared of Kyle Pitts, so they're going to put their defense on Kyle Pitts or put their eyes over there. But I just feel like I think the creativity, they're going to have to kind of utilize Kyle Pitts, kind of throw a little bit of those swings and screens out the backfield or something. Like I said, utilize that pistol a little bit more, because, like I said, you want to keep him. You want to keep him going. You want to keep him going. You want to feed him. That if you want to feed him like a lot, that's the best way to do it. And then it's gonna open up so much for the middle of the field for him. But I like that key, man. I like them takes on that, man. Hey, you get a couple of these comments on that take. How do y'all feel about that take about Mariota? Raymond Elder here says the attention that Kyle Pitts gets also opens up the running game. That's good. That's correct on that one. Blackberry here said clutch moments. We have to give Drake and Pitts those opportunities with their abilities. Edwards is more of a chains guy. I can see that. Yeah, he doesn't come off as explosive right now. Yeah, I just think in that situation, you have to feed the hot hand, and Drake London was the hot hand. So that comes down to I mean, he actually was trying to feed him, but he sailed like you said, he sailed Drake London ass like twice on that damn drive.
Yeah.
Supposed to throw the Drake London like not Bobo. Only Bobo gonna make them catch.
Bobo ain't making no catches. He was throwing that thing he was throwing that thing so high. Drake went up to jump and it's like, oh, okay, that's going out of bounds. Ain't nobody catching that. So
exactly. Bobby Boy here said OZ been making plays also. Yeah. Like we said, everybody's been eating off of Kyle Pitts' attention. And if y'all looked at the interview with Kyle Pitts, and he plainly stated himself, he's like, hey, I'm not worried about it, dog. My time is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's leadership right there. That's leadership for a young guy.
Yeah. It's already off to a good start.
Mm-hmm. Because Kyle Pitts getting a pass interference call on the sideline. I wish they would have did something with that drive. But getting a pass interference on the sideline like that, defenses fear Kyle Pitts more than they do Jamar Chase. Let's just I said that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely appreciate a few of those comments, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get into key number 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my key into number 2 here. And what this key is actually going to do is it's actually going to set up. It might set up what Juice key might be. It might set it up perfectly. Hey, G, you know how I like to get them alley-oops and stuff, right?
Yeah, I know you like to just put it at the lip of the rim so I can break Griffin. Go ahead and do that.
Exactly. Okay, so my K-Styles key to this game is basically going to be stop hanging around the bakery.
What that mean?
I want to see if anybody want to get what that means. Stop hanging around the damn bakery. And why are we doing that? See, only I would come up with some stupid, some crazy way of saying something to get folks thinking. Exactly. All right, so let's see what people. I don't think a lot of people really getting it. Now, when I'm saying stop hanging around the bakery, is we need to stop baking these turnovers, bro. These turnovers in key situations, offensively, in the red zone. It really is the difference between us being 0-2 and 2-0. And I'm going to give a shout out to one of my favorite YouTubers who I kind of got the idea of using this for, and that is the Chiseled Adonis with his crazy ass. But yeah, turnovers in the red zone. And I kind of count false start penalties and stuff like that as turnovers as well, because you're literally turning over momentum, getting false starts, holding calls, procedure, illegal shift penalties. These are kind of like turnovers to me, because those are momentum breaking plays in the red zone. And Blackberry here said it best. Blackberry Mr. Lee said best. Protect the damn ball. Protect the damn drives. So Wow, I'm about to say, so my question, I'm gonna let Mike go ahead and answer this question on it as well. I want everybody to put their thoughts on that key as well. Is Mike, where do you think a lot of these procedure penalties that we've been getting in the red zone. Where do you think this is coming from? Do you think it's coming from guys thinking too much?
No, I think guys are just way too anxious. Um, I think guys are just like for once, you got to understand for these offensive linemen, they're not accustomed to attacking. They're accustomed to backing up. This offense is constantly attacking. So when you go from a offense that's always backing up, waiting for pass protection or waiting for Matt Ryan or waiting for a defensive lineman to come into them, rather now you have to switch mindset. No longer am I going backwards most of the time. I'm going forward. I'm attacking. So a lot of these guys are anxious. Chris Lindstrom, anxious. Caleb McGarry, anxious. We know Jake Matthews love to hit people. All right, you saw the screen pass. We end up, I believe he dropped it. I think he dropped the ball didn't get there or something like that. But we had a screen pass where we went up. It might have been a procedure pass. I forget what it was. But it was a screen pass. Jake got out. I think we got a few yards out of it. But a lot of these guys are anxious to get up. So they're so quick. They're so ready to get into the defender because, like I said, these guys like to hit. You go to look at Caleb McGarry in college. He's a guy that loves to hit. Chris Lindstrom loves to hit. You know, Chris Dahlman, that's one of his strengths is running game. Elijah Wilkinson, I just throw him off as I ain't gonna say positive. I'll just say he's trying. All right, he's trying. All right, I'm gonna be positive.
Bless his heart.
Bless him, Jesus. Bless him, Lord. But he's trying. He hasn't. Look, I'm gonna say this about Elijah Wilkinson. He hasn't done anything great, but he hasn't done anything incredibly terrible. Also, he does his job. All right, so he get praised for that also. But Jake Matthews is another one of the offensive linemen that love. Again, he's a guy that loves to hit. So when you have that mindset, a lot of these guys just anxious to hit somebody. Cordero Patterson, every time he get hit, he stand up, start whispering to the defender, the smiling, and like they love contact. So you got that mentality, man. They get anxious. So I think that is Arthur's. I think that's one of the things with Mariota too that he kind of have to bring them down a little bit. A lot of these guys just like they just tough, man. And with tough guys, they love hits. They love to be in the middle of stuff, and I think that's the problem with that. They're just way too anxious. Because the penalties were from 8 the first game to 5 the first game. So it's not the penalties. They like I said, it's the timing of the penalties, but for the most part, I think these guys are just anxious.
What do you feel about that, Drew? Do you feel like it's this anxious mindset that's kind of been the problem in those situations?
I think guys are pressing a little bit. Like in the Rams game, when you had Cordell Patterson, they were talking about that in the chat when he caused the interception where he ran out the backfield to make the catch and he basically bobbled it. I think he kind of just took his eye off the ball. You know how they always talk about receivers, look it all the way in before you start looking down the field to try to run with the ball. I think he was trying to look at making a big play because he knew we were down in the game and everybody's so amped up and anxious. I think that could be, some of the issues with the turnovers. And then sometimes it's just not your day. I mean, the ball just bounces a weird way. Like, what was the chance that, CP drops that ball and the defender's right there, like to almost get a pick six with it. So it's just like, sometimes it's just not your day. The ball's just not bouncing your way. But I think the guys are pressing. I think at some points, when the game is kind of getting out of hand, you start pressing a little bit. You start to try to do a little too much. But that's what we've seen with CP. He dropped the routine catch. Usually you never see him drop the ball, but at certain points in the game, you start to feel like, okay, I need to make a play. I need to make a play. And sometimes that's how you overthink. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that these guys are going to be okay. But I think that's what's really going on is everybody's trying to make a play or sometimes you try to do a little bit too much. And that's why you hear Dean Pease always talk about we need all 11 guys to do their job. Don't try to make a play. Just do your job. If you do your job, the play will be made. Prime example is on the block punt. If you guys listen to the interview with both Lorenzo Carter and Troy Anderson, he basically was just like, I was covered up by two people. Lorenzo Carter was like, I was just, covered up by two guys, and then I just seen a flash go right by me, and it was Troy Anderson, coming up with the block. And then he was in position to pick the ball up and run it into the end zone. So that just goes to show you, if everybody does their job, the plays are going to be made for you, basically. Like, how many times last year where we said guys were in position, they just dropped the ball? Eric Harris, we've seen him numerous times last year. Dean Pease dialed up the right play. He was in perfect position to make a routine interception, a routine play. And I can point to last Sunday. I don't think a lot of people remember in the end zone, AJ Terrell dropped an interception. He had an opportunity to make an interception in the back of the end zone where he got off of his guy and went into the back of the end zone. They tried to throw it to Cooper Kupp. He could have intercepted the ball. I mean, and we've seen that like twice already, even in the first game when we talked about Jalen Hawkins. He did the same thing AJ Terrell did. He faded back. He felt it. There was nobody in the flat. He backed up a little bit, and he had a chance to make an interception. So these guys are in the right position. They just got to start making the plays. And that's why I say I'm not too worried about this team, because we've talked about it. We know when Dan Quinn was here, how many times did we see in that last season when Dan Quinn was here? It's like blown coverage, guys wide open, guys on the ground. Like, we're not seeing that with this group. We're seeing guys in position. They just got to finish the plays.
Ooh, boy.
Hold on. I want to hit this comment up right quick. I saw Scotty Robinson, but Kenan Moss actually, he hit a comment here that I want everybody to get their takes on, right? Just for a little bit. So I swear I saw Caleb McGarry throwing dudes out the club during the Rams game.
Yeah, he a dog, man. Caleb McGarry.
Look, didn't we? I've been telling you guys, the change in the style of the offense changes the mindset of offensive linemen. They're not accustomed to going back. These big 300 pounds like attacking people. They look. My best friend is 330 pounds. Okay, trust me. They like K-Styles nearly choked the damn life out of me the first time I met him because he's so damn big. He don't even know his own damn strength. These big guys are strong. They love to attack. Okay, so this is one of the main reasons why Caleb McGarry is playing, because he's playing his style. We all always hear us say one thing up here all the time. We've been talking about this for years when it comes down to the players that you draft. Put them in position to succeed. Do what they do best. Okay? Not try to mold them into what you like to do. But that's like I said, that's what it did come down to, man. This guy just doing what they do best.
Yeah, man. So yeah, definitely like shout out to Caleb McGarry. Like you can also point it out to the fact that it's a contract year for him too, but really in reality, it's just the scheme fit itself. Like I said, when you run the damn ball, certain guys become Baron Corbin. Not Happy Corbin, but
Not
Baron
Happy
Corbin.
There you go. You
All
said it
right.
best, K-Styles. Don't have our guys be in the punching bags, but give us some gloves and let us, throw a couple jabs and throw a couple haymakers. I mean, it's easy to fight somebody when they got their hand behind their back, tied behind their back. But when they put them gloves on and they can throw a couple punches and a couple shots, we see that our guys, like we kept saying, these guys, they soft and all that. No, the style we were playing was soft. The guys are not soft. These guys are professional athletes. So I'm not surprised at all what Caleb McGarry is doing. This guy was a first round pick. This dude was a dog when he was at Washington. I mean, they drafted him in the first round for a reason. But like we said, give these guys a chance to be aggressive. When you let these guys be aggressive and not be so passive, backpedaling the whole time, I mean, if you're getting attacked backpedaling all day, you're gonna look weak too. But if I let you, let these guys go head up and let him go forward, we see Caleb McGarry, he can do some things when you give him, like we said, put them in positions to succeed, give these guys a chance to do what they do best. And we've seen that with a number of players. Isaiah Oliver, McGarry, all of these guys look better. We told you guys, these guys are going to look better when you change the offense and you give these guys a chance. We call them the big uglies for a reason down in the trenches. Let these guys do what they do best. And that we said, muddy up the game. We call it mucking up the game. Let's muck this game up. You don't have as much talent. You don't need a lot of talent when you out there just mucking the game up, slowing the game down. And that's why I talked about tempo last week. Make them play your style.
Throw them dirty draws on the stage. That's the type of offense we got. Oh my God, man. Hey, man. Big Ant said it best here, man. Kidney shots will take down any fighter. Hell, if you look at an MMA fight, them damn kicks to the thigh. Playing up. Woo! Jesus Christ. Yeah, them kicks to the thigh, boy, will take anybody down. You take somebody's base. Oh Lord, I shouldn't have said that because look who done popped up and I said draw.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just waiting for it to happen.
Exactly. But let's go ahead, man. Let's go ahead and get to the final key of this matchup, and we're gonna let the minister bless us with his key to victory. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to not only Mad Mike Sports, not only Six Man K Styles, but Jew Talk Sports as well. So go ahead, Jew, man. Go ahead and bless us with your key, man.
I was weak, K Style, because I thought you were about to say, go ahead and put some fire in the chat like last
week.
Yeah. Put some fire in the chat. No. We gotta wait for you to give us the word first. We gotta get the word first. Most definitely. Well, go ahead and throw that key to victory up there, K Style, so they can see what we're gonna be talking about. The third and final key. There it go, man.
Put some fire. Fire for everybody. Put some fire in the chat.
Yeah, but as we were talking about a little bit earlier, and I said I was gonna talk about this during the last key. Brian Baldinger, I was like, he stole our thunder a little bit by him putting that that clip of that film on Twitter today. He kind of stole our thunder, but I'm kind of glad he put it out there. If you guys got to see it on Twitter, I shared it on my page. Mike shared it. If you guys didn't get a chance to see Brian Baldinger, he does great breakdowns of different teams and players. And he talked about Cordell Patterson. He talked about Drake London, and he talked about Kyle Pitts. Those guys as a trio. And he showed the touchdown that we scored in the red zone, Drake London's first touchdown. So I talked about it. We got to capitalize in the red zone. That's going to be this key to victory. If we would have done this in the first two games, every time we got down in the red zone, if we would have scored touchdowns, we would have blew the Saints out because that Mariota fumble really came back to bite us. In this last game, we had that missed field goal early in the game where if you score a touchdown right there, you set the tone because we got the ball first, if I'm not mistaken. We drove down the field, and then Younghoe Koo missed that field goal. And that already kind of turned the tide and swung the momentum to the Rams right away because they're getting ball first at half. Plus, we didn't score on the first drive. So we weren't able to control the tempo, as I talked about. My key to victory was last week. So the Rams kind of jumped out to that lead on us because we didn't capitalize. So in this game, we got to score touchdowns in the red zone. And the reason I said that Ball, kind of stole our thunder is because I was going to talk a little bit about Drake London and Kyle Pitts, that I feel like we got to do more bunch formations. I think Arthur Smith, I understand what he's saying. The ball will find Kyle Pitts when it finds him. But if you guys go and watch Brian Baldinger, he showed a play where they were playing off 10 yards off of Drake London, and late in the game, Arthur Smith made an adjustment where it was almost like a hot route where Marcus Mariota hiked the ball, popped straight up, and just threw it out there in the flat right to Drake London, and he got 10 yards. He ran, hurdled a guy, and got 11 yards like that. That was like the easiest offense you can run. And this is something that K Styles was talking about early. And I believe it was the first key to victory, where you said you got to just get the ball to Kyle Pitts any way you can get it to him. If it's a screen, if it's just a quick short, you pop up, he's on the outside, just throw the ball to him. If they playing off, you got to let that man touch that football. He's too good of a talent, has way too much talent. And we know he can run out the catch. He's the unicorn. He can do everything. He's a wide receiver, running back, whatever you want him to be, Kyle Pitts can do it. So you got to get him the football at all costs, because he's one of the best players, if not the best player on your offensive side of the game. So you can't just have him out there as a decoy. So I definitely think if you guys go look at what Baldy kind of showed in the clip, we have to do more, to me, in the red zone when those, when everything gets tight down in the red zone, like when you're in the 10 or the 15, you got to stack those guys up on top of each other. So I would have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, as Baldy showed in his video, on the same side of the field, and have those guys do all kind of like rub routes, anything to get these guys open. Because if you guys notice with the Rams, everybody's talking about AJ Terrell. He's not playing well. AJ Terrell hasn't been playing well this year, the first 2 games. It's not that AJ Terrell is not playing well. They're scheming against him. If you go look at the Rams, one thing that I love about Sean McVay, he understands angles, and he runs a lot of rub routes. If you guys watch Cooper Kupp, he lines up everywhere, but they run a lot of rub routes, which gives him space. Mike always talks about that space on offense. That's something that for our Atlanta Falcons, we got to take a page out of their book, the Rams book, and these guys that understand you got to take advantage of pick plays, all of that. You got to take advantage of that. Kyle Pitts is a really big guy. Drake London's a really big guy. Corners are not going to be able to run through those guys doing pick plays and things of that nature. So you run those bunch coverages or those bunch routes so that it makes it harder on those corners to play that tight man coverage. So I think that that's something in this game. If you're going to throw the ball when you get close in the red zone, stack those guys, in those bunch formations, and it'll create space for a guy like Kyle Pitts, for a guy like Drake London. If you're trying to force the ball to them, don't allow them just to bracket, Kyle Pitts, where you're just lining them up on the edge of the line like a tight end, where it's easy for a linebacker or a corner and a safety to bracket him. Make it harder for those guys to bracket him. And I don't think that Arthur Smith so far has been doing a great job of, we're going to find a way to get him the ball, even if that means he did it late in the game, but I think he has to do a little bit more of that, especially in the red zone. I don't really care between the 20s, because we're moving the ball fine. It's when we get in the red zone where we've kind of been struggling, and Mariota is kind of scared to throw the ball in those, tight situations, because we haven't been running a lot of rub routes. We've seen when we finally stacked those guys on top of each other, Mariota let that thing go, and Drake London had an easy walk-in touchdown. So we got to do a little bit more of that. But scoring touchdowns is going to be the name of the game in this game against Seattle. If you score touchdowns, we easily could be sitting at 2-0 if we would have capitalized in the red zone these first 2 weeks.
Fire in the chat, everybody. Fire. That fire in there. I want to see some more fire. I ain't seen enough fire. I need more fire. So for those that don't know what you just said, the Falcons, and I'm going to be using this analogy again because it's just so fitting right here, right now. Y'all ass is going to be looking at me crazy. I'm like, so basically the Falcons got to be GTD.
No.
That's how that's the touchdown, man. You gotta score GTD.
No, we're not doing that, K Styles. I know where you got that wrong. We're not doing that.
I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm just gonna, like I said, if you know what it is, you know what it is. If you don't, you just better be imaginative. So, so Mike, look, let me ask you. So, Drew brought up the interesting point as far as those bunch formations. Do you believe that type of formation Do we need to see that a little bit more in the red zone?
It's kind of difficult for me to say because I think we've been doing a good job as far as the passing is concerned in the red zone. I just think we just make too many mistakes. Like we had a lot of off, like a lot of plays where I think we was in the red zone, Parker Hesse, I believe it was Chris Lindstrom jumped off. So we had opportunities. We only had 4 opportunities in the red zone, but 2 of those were negated. So I think we're doing good in the red zone. I don't have a problem with the play calling at all in the red zone. I think where you is more so saying is between the 20s. I think that's where we need to utilize those trap plays and those. I just had a complete brain fart, but those plays in you know how Tom Brady likes to use, he'll use his wide receivers to open things up for Gronk. They'll go out and 5 wide receivers, 5 wide set, and 4 wide receivers, but the 5th guy, obviously tight end, is in the middle of the field, and they will spread things out, and it will force team to go one-on-one. I think that's more so what the Falcons have to do if they want to get the ball to not Drake London, but Kyle Pitts. Those are the things you have to do. Spread it out, put them in the slot, and it'll force them to either put a safety, DB, or a linebacker. And obviously, we know that's a mismatch for them. So I think they need to do that, spread it out a little bit more. I love the pistol formation because it's difficult for the defense to kind of gauge whether or not it's a speed or power. Because of the tight ends, types of tight ends and wide receivers that we have, it's kind of hard to get a gauge on which formations that you can kind of combat that with. Because if you come out in a dime or nickel personnel, I just say dime personnel to try to combat or combat their speed. Well, guess what? They're gonna pound the ball and run up the middle. So I think the pistol formation is I think it's perfect for the Falcons, but if they want to get the ball, obviously, I think they just need to spread it out, get the ball, and go to a hurry up pace, get Pitts the ball, get them going early. That's the quick and the best way to do it. Because, like you said, you can throw screens out there, you can throw those smoke screens out there, and that you get guys involved quick. But my only thing with those smoke screens and those quick passes, you got to understand these are big guys. Them little guys gonna go at their knees, and that's kind of that right there scares me when I got a 6'4" Drake, 6'6" Kyle Pitts. Them little DBs and them little linebackers gonna be going at their knees to try to take out their knees. So I like what the offense is, but I'm just gonna trust the process. So I wouldn't necessarily change anything.
Right. Because there was actually a particular play. That kind of caught my eye last week. I'm trying to remember what quarter it was at, but it was one of those red zone opportunities. And it kind of goes back to what Mike was saying in his key as far as the confidence in Mariota and ripping the ball in there where it needs to be at. It was actually an opportunity for Kyle Pitts to actually score on a hook route. But he had hesitated just for a split second. And he panicked. Because what that was the one where he tried to high point at the Kyle Pitts. That he threw too late. Like if he actually would have ripped it at the time that it was there, he actually didn't have to high point Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was open on the hook route. And this is kind of what we talk. This is kind of what the theme of tonight's show is about taking those opportunities and running with it. This is the Falcons' Achilles heel right here. is not taking advantage of the opportunities. I want to throw that out there just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go ahead and get a few more of these comments here, man. See what the people thinking on that. Weezy B said, yeah, Jew got the baptism at his best. Mm-hmm. Isaac Crown said the benediction by Jew. Hey man, shoot, I told y'all, man. When you got a minister, the word is real. Let's see.
One more stat I wanted to share because I kind of shared this on Twitter, and this is the reason why I'm so confused by people saying that Arthur isn't creative. The Falcons are scoring 26.5 points a game right now in the first two games. I just that in itself. You don't score 26 points in a game without being creative and actually having a good game plan and calling good plays. That doesn't happen. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's higher than what the Cincinnati Bengals at. Like, granted that it is 2 games, but you compared to last game, it was 14. Last year, it was 14.5 points a game. It was about 14 points a game last year in the same amount of time. So, again, this is why I'm so confused by everybody saying, well, he needs to be more creative. Well, doesn't necessarily need to be more creative. The only issue with this offense is really Kyle Pitts is not catching the ball. That's literally it.
Okay, so my question to both of y'all would be on that is it more so that the people think that he's not creative, or is it the fact that his offense doesn't pertain to what the NFL is all about nowadays?
Dude, you got to get this one. Ooh, boy.
Well, what I'll say is this: when it comes to the Arthur Smith, I like his offense. I think he's been creative. My only gripe that I'll have is on certain situations. You know how we talked about critical tackles and everybody laughed? Well, when it comes down to these critical situations, the only gripe I had in this last game was when he tried to run up the middle, when it was like when we went forward on that 4th down in the middle of the field. And the only reason I had a gripe about it is because this won't the Saints. You know, we played the Saints, we made them they turned into the Sukihana. Well, we were just running up the middle all day with GP. Yeah, so we could do that, but my only gripe was, why would you run at Aaron Donald and Ashawn Robinson? Like, that's disrespectful. Like, these are 2 of the best. Like, that's their strength. Like, my thing is take advantage where you can take advantage. Like, we weren't having success running the ball up the gut. That was my only problem with his play calling last week. Other than that, I really had no gripe. That was the only gripe that I had. But as far as him being creative, I think he's creative because this offense looks like a totally different offense. Last year with Matt Ryan, if you guys go back and look, we didn't run a lot of pistol. Like, they're doing that because of Marcus Mariota. And that's what we said. One thing that I can respect about Arthur Smith is he understands I'm going to do what, best suits the players that I have. As we always talk about, as Michael's saying, put these players in position to succeed. Arthur Smith understands that. We see that because we're seeing a lot of pistol. Like in that first game, when Mariota actually fumbled at the end of the game, we were like, well, dang, maybe he fumbled because he'd been in the pistol and the shotgun the whole game. So if you look at our offense, a lot of people is like, they're running this gimmicky style offense. Well, we're running this offense is because that's what fits Marcus Mariota's style. That's kind of what he did at Oregon. That's kind of what he likes to do, is run out and get out on the edges. And we're kind of running that RPO. We tried to prepare you guys during the offseason. We told you, you're going to see a lot of RPO, and it's going to look a lot like similar to the Tennessee Titans with Ryan Tannehill, is because we know that Marcus Mariota is going to want to move his legs, use his legs and be able to use a lot of play action. We've seen a lot of play action shots deep down the field. You're seeing a lot of Marcus Mariota with the RPO. You're seeing a lot of bootlegs because that's what, he does best. He's not your typical drop back. If you guys notice, when we use Marcus Mariota in the traditional drop back, that's when he kind of gets happy feet. And that's what you're talking about, K-Styles. If you go look at that play where he missed Kyle Pitts early, it doesn't look like Marcus Mariota is most comfortable when he's just a normal 3 or 5 step drop. You got to sit back and read the defense. And that's no knock on him. Like, a lot of people want to knock him for that. Every player has their strengths. To me, he puts me in the mind of like a Colin Kaepernick. If you guys remember when Kaepernick had his success with the 49ers, they used a lot of pistol formations. They used a lot of RPO. But you can win a Super Bowl doing that. They got all the way to the Super Bowl doing that gimmicky style offense. So I don't mind this style of offense we're running. We just got to get used to the days of Matt Ryan are over. The traditional style offense where you just line up I formation or you just line up with 5 wide receivers, you're not going to see a whole lot of that with Marcus Mariota because that's not what he does best. He's best when he's using his legs. He's best when he can get out on the edges, and that's what he does best. So, like I said, Arthur Smith is really creative. Like, from seeing the offense last year to this year, it looks like night and day. Like, this looks like a totally different offense from last year.
And we have a $1.99 super chat. Right, people say small change for Juice collection plate.
Shouts out to Brian Peoples, man. We appreciate it, man.
But yeah, I think a lot of times when we hear about Arthur Smith and the creativity as far as his play calling, I think kind of agree with you. It kind of more so goes into the fact that it's not really of what the NFL is nowadays, of trying to get teams to be here scoring 30 to 35 points a game. We literally right here exactly where this offense is a 25, 26 point per game type of offense. Now, if you hold on to the ball, you looking at it. Yeah. Now, if the Falcons, now we can put in hindsight, if the Falcons didn't turn the ball over the way they've done the first couple games, you looking at about an average of 35 to 40 points a game these first 2 games. Come down to taking care of the ball, people.
They doing whatever they want on offense. Whenever they want, however they want, the type of routes they want to run, from running the ball up the middle, the outside, the Falcons are doing any and everything they want to do to anybody. This is a top 5 defense in the Saints and a top 15 defense in the I think they have the second most sacks the Rams did last year. So this is a team, both of those teams are great defensive teams. So you can't sit up here and say, well, this means nothing. Like, if they're doing that to the best teams, the Falcons are going to destroy Seattle. You heard what I said. The Falcons are going to destroy. If they're doing that to the Saints, and which the Saints gave up 3 points. They gave up before they went on that little run with the Bucks. They couldn't score. They gave up 3 points. 3 points in like the first 3 quarters or so. So the Saints are a very good defense.
That's very good. The rumble in the swamp. I was about to say before the rumble in the swamp.
Rumble in the swamp. Right. Before all that nonsense happened, they were doing a good thing. They were doing their thing on defense. So you can't tell me that this offense doesn't work if they're pretty much running through the best defenses. So that's only a matter of time. It's like talent level is going to take. The talent level is going to become a factor at some point when you're playing teams that are not as good as the Rams, not as good as the Saints. Seattle, who the hell is scared of some fucking Geno Smith? I mean, my bad, man. I didn't mean to curse, but he's Geno Smith, bro. Who's afraid of Geno Smith? Let's just keep that real. Ain't nobody scared of no Geno Smith, man. All right? And the backup ain't no better.
Drew Lock.
Look, that man don't even deserve that name. He need to be he need to be the question mark man on the WWE screen. It's like who's that? They got a black screen with a question mark on it.
What he say? He's a red rooster in the NFL.
That's what he is.
That's the Brooklyn Brawler.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that.
So the expectation is we are expecting the Falcons to win this game against Seattle. So that is what we are expecting. Like you said, Seattle really doesn't pose it like I know the main matchup everybody's gonna be looking at is DK Metcalf versus AJ Terrell. But it's Geno Smith. That's all I gotta say. That's all we gotta say on that.
Geno Smith, man.
Drew Lock got the perfect name for a backup quarterback.
He got that bench locked down. That's what he got.
Well, he locking that clipboard down real good. But anything else y'all got on y'all mind? Any matchup y'all looking forward to seeing? Just a little quick outer right quick. Any type of matchup y'all looking forward to seeing?
It's tough, man. I mean, I really don't have any matchups. That's crazy. Like any matchups that I'm really looking at, other than you guys know I always watch, the trenches. I just feel like if whoever wins the trenches gonna win this game. I do think that the Seattle Seahawks, they got that home field advantage. The noise there in Seattle. I think that factors into this game for our offensive line of no false start penalties. You guys being, on one accord as far as guys understanding we might have to go silent count and stuff like that. And I think that could be a problem in this game, but it's not really any particular matchups necessarily that I'm looking at. I think you said a good one, DK Metcalf versus AJ Terrell, but we played a lot of zone in the last game. So are we really going to see AJ Terrell lock up against DK Metcalf, or are we going to try to play that we're going to keep everything in front of us and let Geno throw us the ball because we know he's going to make a mistake at some point? You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be the game plan. That's just a little sneak peek. I do think that's going to be Dean Peace's game plan. It's like just keep everything in front of you and make Geno Smith throwing tight windows because I know, he's going to end up throwing an inaccurate pass. I really think that's going to be Dean Peace's game plan. I don't think you're going to see in this game like a lot of man-to-man coverage. I expect Dean Pease to say, keep everything in front of us and make Geno throw in the tight windows, and eventually he's going to make a mistake. Make them go the long route, long drives, nothing cheap, nothing deep, no quick DK Metcalf, 60-yard bombs or nothing like that, or a Tyler Lockett bomb. We're going to keep everything in front of us, 2 deep safeties, and just make him, nickel and dime up and down the field. Eventually he'll make a mistake. I think that's what we're going to see.
And I think this is the first time in a while that we've actually seen the Falcons create 2+ turnovers in consecutive games too. But I agree with you. It's going to be that O-line versus the 12th man. That's always going to be the biggest matchup when facing Seattle, because no matter how bad that team is, boy, that 12th man show the hell up.
Watching Drew Dalman close in this game, K. That's another guy. It's not necessarily him versus anybody, but I don't know if you guys picked up in this last game. To me, he was snapping that ball a little bit low. I don't know if you guys seen Marcus Mariota. I know the one they said it was Marcus Mariota's fault when I guess he snapped it into the guy that was in motion, but he was snapping that ball a little bit low in this last game. So I'm watching the whole O-line. I think the O-line versus that crowd noise is going to be big.
You got to.
Well, I'm looking at a few numbers. And I think this team obviously means um, has a lot of similarities. Seattle played San Francisco, all right, and the number that I think is significant here is third down. And I already told you guys about how the Falcons, if they want to get off to a good start, um, I want to see positive yards, at least 5 to 7 yards, um, in the first from first and second down. So if you can get 5 to 7 yards on that first on first down, they're gonna win the game because you go San Francisco. Everybody already kind of know that he models his games, his a lot of his plays off of what Kyle Shanahan does. He kind of learned from guys like Mike Mularkey. I always forget dude name in Green Bay right now. But he kind of learned from him that offense, Kyle Shanahan. So he kind of run the same system. So Seattle had problems stopping the run and stopping them quite frankly. I think the time possession was 38 minutes to 21. And they did not run the ball well at all. So if the Falcons can establish that run early, quick, this game is not going. This is going to be a blowout. Because we know that the Falcons, like I was saying earlier, the Falcons pretty much dominated the Rams and they dominated the Saints. They did whatever they wanted, how they wanted, but the only thing we're talking about is the turnovers. They dominated those teams offensively. They ran the ball. They got exactly what they wanted when they wanted. But if they can establish that run early, it's going to be a blowout. I don't even care about they can yell and scream, but you run the ball, you keep getting first downs, you keep getting positive yards on first and second down, you don't have to worry about third down.
Hey man, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and wind the show down on that right there. I think that was definitely something. Let's go ahead and we gotta end it off right.
Whoa! How you forget the topic that you started?
Oh,
you started it. What's wrong with you, K-Style?
What is wrong with me? Hold on. Hold on. Let me. Oh yeah, that's right. The heavy on Falcons, goofy motherfuckers. Yeah, yes. These two.
Gotta get your take on that.
Oh my god, bro. Said Kyle Pitt. I wish I'd have brought that article up on my phone, but my phone about to die. So basically, it's saying that Kyle Pitts is no longer the top dog in this offense because he felt like the Falcons have not been looking his direction. Really? Really, we doing this now? This is exactly the problem that we always say is trying to come up with articles that are defensive amongst not only the Falcon fan base, but the organization in itself. Sometimes you got to set picks so the scorer can get around and hit that mid-range jumper. Sometimes you got to pass that rock to the shooter in his shooting pocket where he wants to be at. Kyle Pitts is the alpha dog in this offense because the defenses are pertain to stopping him. This is what opens it up for Cordero Patterson to be CP. This is what opens up for Drake London to have 160 yards receiving in the first two games. This is what opens up for Cordero Hodges to be the second leading receiver on this team. This what opens up for Mariota, Tyler Algier, Cordell Patterson, Avery Williams. This gives them the opportunity to run the damn ball. A lot of times, the biggest impact a player can make on this field doesn't always show up on the box score, doesn't always show up on the stat sheets, but you see it on the field. Mike just said it. This offense is averaging almost 27 points a game, and Kyle Pitts ain't really caught that many passes. Think about that for a second.
Right.
So is he really not? Is he really not an alpha dog, or is he the big dog? Heavy on Falcons, heavy.com. Y'all need to sit y'all goofy asses down for that one, because that's a damn shame.
I ain't got no thing. I'm gonna let you. We're in it with you. I ain't got.
Oh, let me say one more thing. And get that DraftKings fantasy football. Get that out your damn head, because this is basically the essential problem of it. Is everybody is mad that Kyle Pitts ain't winning them no fantasy football games or no DraftKings games. That's why Arthur Smith said we here to win football games. We not here to win fantasy football games. If that's the case, I'll force it to Kyle Pitts 13 times a game. You saw what happened to the Rams last week. Once they forced it to Cooper Kupp 14 times. Yes, Cooper Kupp was productive, but they almost blew a 28-3 lead trying to throw the damn ball. Think about that, people. What you got to say about that, Drew?
You said it all, man. Like, it ain't much else to say. I mean, as we look at it, we know what Kyle Pitts can do. We seen him last year. I just want to see him get in the end zone. But as long as we winning games, that's all that matters. I mean, to me, he's playing a Julio Jones role. We know when Julio was here, he dealt with the same thing. Like, they're like, Julio never put up a lot of touchdowns, but we know other guys benefited off of it, like AKA Calvin Ridley. We've seen, Calvin Ridley come right on the scene and explode because Julio Jones is drawing all of the coverage. So that other guy's going to eat. And that's why I said that Drake London was the perfect complement to a Kyle Pitts. That's the reason they drafted him. So as much as I wanted Jordan Davis, and we talked about him being able to complement Grady Jarrett, they brought in somebody to complement Kyle Pitts and bringing in Drake London. And that's the reason I thought, and I said that he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year, because I knew last year we didn't have that guy that could capitalize when, Kyle Pitts was double teamed. It was no other guy out there that can beat one-on-one coverage or just go out there and dominate. And we're seeing Drake London is that guy that can dominate. So we got that 1-2 punch now on the outside. So with that being said, we know what Kyle Pitts is capable of. At the end of the day, he's drawing the coverage, and all of the other guys are reaping the benefit off of that, like the Drake Londons. And as long as they're doing that, I would let Drake London eat. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. Like you said, a lot of these guys, are playing fantasy football. I got a fantasy football team, and Kyle Pitts is on my team as well. And I still been winning, y'all. I'm 2-0 in my fantasy league anyway. I had to throw that in. I'm 2-0 in my draft league. I got him in. I got Mark Andrews for the Ravens. So I had my backup plan just in case Kyle Pitts don't get the ball. I'm running at 11 personnel. I got my 2 tight ends, so I'm not worried about it. But with that being said, like I said, I think that's definitely a goofy article, because we know pretty much this offense is catered around Kyle Pitts. We know that Arthur Smith loves the tight ends. We know that's what he loves. So we took him one of the highest drafted tight end at that number 4 pick when we drafted him. So at the end of the day, we know that Kyle Pitts is featured in the offense, but As long as they're double teaming, keep feeding Drake London. He's gonna eat all day.
All right, so ain't too much more I gotta say. Mike, you got anything to say on that?
Man, no, you need to sit your dumb ass down. Don't ever write an article again. That's all I got to say. You respond to that nonsense. Man, you got to be an idiot to write that crap.
Well, that was all ass right there. That wasn't crap. That was just all ass right there.
Ass. I'm talking about Rikishi, Yokozuna type.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you know what the bad thing about it is? You be trying. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. I just pulled it up. Yeah. It said, according to one writer from a leading analytical site. See, that's already a fuck up right there.
They got PFF written all over it.
No. What you talking about? No, yeah. Let me read it. Cause we're gonna have a couple more minutes. Let me just read something. Okay. It says, speaking of edition, Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Mike Renner of Pro Football Focus named Drake London as the new number one target in Falcons offense.
I didn't even have to. I told you. I look. I didn't know it. Y'all brought it. Y'all PFF will get y'all.
Yeah, PFF is gonna lead y'all to jump off a bridge trying to chase a damn raccoon or something, bro. That's some bull. It says Renner believes London is really a perfect fit for Arthur Smith's offense, and honestly, kind of like absurd Kyle Pitts as the top dog in the offense. Like Mario looks his way instead of Pitts' way more often than not. It said Marcus Mariota has grown comfortable zeroing in on London when dropping back to pass. The disparity between targets was broken down by Josh Larkey and Jordan Vanek of the 33rd team. See, you know what? Let's go ahead and end the show before I really start getting mad. So basically, that whole article was written by a bunch of motherfuckers counting numbers. All right, let's go ahead and end the damn show before I'm really gonna get in them right here. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, we good. All right, people, man. We definitely appreciate you tuning in to the Heavy Hitters. As you already know, man, we come through, man. We want to give y'all the knowledge. We want to give y'all our thoughts on these games. And we learn from y'all as well. So, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you go share this content with the people. Share it with your mama. Share it with your friends. Share it with your co-workers. Share it with your side chicks. Share it with your dogs, babies, whatever. Get Mike to that 10K spot. Get you to that 2K spot. And I'm going for that 2K spot as well. So, y'all like the new Heavy Hitters theme song? I want y'all to put a thumbs up if y'all like the new Heavy Hitter sound. I think this sounds very Heavy Hitter like. Oh, Mike bringing out the
It's gonna be in my rap video. My rap video gonna be like this.
that boy said he gonna be the true definition of the Afro Samurai.
Man, call me Mad Machida, all right?
Exactly. So, until next time, people, we ain't here to play.
I wasn't ready for that.
We here to stay.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't gotta go home.
No. But you gotta get the income out of here.
Also, shouts out to Amazon Prime. They finally put my favorite movie on there for free.
This man here.
If y'all know what movie I'm talking about Drunken Master by the Jackie Chan movie Drunken Master. We finally got on there for free. Shout out to Amazon. Deuces.